What's going on, folks? I'm back with another episode of All Around, which was truly. There's a number of topics I'm going to run through quickly. I have a game later on tonight, so, just bear with me. We're going to touch on the Gonzaga DC Classic. Had the privilege of checking out the elite talent, elite high school talent over there at Gonzaga. We'll also touch on, my experience watching Penn take on Kentucky up at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. We'll preview the George Washington Bowie State game, which is the game I will be covering later on today. We'll check, I give my thoughts on the NBA in-season tournament or whatnot, and you'll see what else we have, on deck, man. But before I get there, we got to check out our sponsors, though, see what Oohs and Ahs has going on. Visit Oohs and Ahs and order their lunch special, which starts at $10.95. Lunch specials are available from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Also, make sure if you can't make it, they deliver as well. They deliver from both locations, man. The U Street location, which is located at 1005 U Street Northwest, Washington, D.C., is open for carryout and delivery, while the Georgia Avenue location, which is located at 5933 Georgia Avenue Northwest, Washington, D.C., is open for dine-in, carryout, and delivery. So, no excuses, man. If you're a little hungry, you're in the D.C. area, if you can't make it yourself in person, Oohs and Ahs, make sure you get online or call in and have them deliver the food, man. You won't regret it, man. It's the best soul food spot in our area, hands down. All right, man, we're going to move on. We're going to jump right into things, man. The Gonzaga DC Classic. It's a special brand of ball, well put together, organized, elite competition from around the country. It wasn't just, majority were local teams, but at the same time, the majority, there were some out-of-town teams, you know what I mean? Like Whitney Young, powerhouse team from out of Chicago, Archbishop Ryan from up north, I believe, in Pennsylvania. They came down as well, man. It was a lot of competition. The first day was, the heavy hitters kind of took it to the new blood, so to speak, in the area, man. They kind of whooped up on them, but the semis and the finals, it got a little bit more competitive. And to no one's surprise, Gonzaga, they pulled it out in their own tournament, their own showcase. They won the championship with Jackson Reed, obviously, DC powerhouse, DCIAA powerhouse. They knocked them off for the championship, but with any showcase, there are standouts. And, here are some of the names that caught my eye. Some of you may know. Well, if you've been following me, you definitely know. You should be familiar with. And then there's some that should be new to the scene that you should keep an eye on, as things move forward. We're going to start off with Georgetown Prep's Tyler Garrett, 6'9" forward. The thing that stood out with him is his fundamentals and as a big man, and it's something that's rare these days. He ran the floor well. He ran basket to basket well, which is something that's you don't see as much from a lot of bigs. Ran hard as well, and as a result, Georgetown Prep guards got a lot of assists off of that. They threw a lot of on-point outlet passes, and all Garrett had to do was just catch it, keep the ball high, and he finished. And as you see in the photo, that was pretty much the case, man. He had his way, especially against Riverdale Baptist. I think he scored about the first 9 of his team's 15 points in the first quarter, and then was just on from there. He's also an adequate shot blocker, great screen and roller, just very fundamentally sound, man. You know what I'm saying? And underrated athlete, man. He's not a freak athlete, but he's an underrated athlete that can get the job done in many ways, especially offensively and defensively when he has to hedge out on guards and get back to his man, protecting the rim, rebounding, like I said, setting good screens and understanding where his sweet spots are in the mid-range and on the block, man. He was very impressive, and, he shined well. So that's definitely, someone you should keep an eye on, especially college coaches due to his size and already, skill set that can help many college programs. Next up is Nathaniel Williams, 6'3" guard out of Riverdale Baptist. His mid-range shooting, it was just elite. You know what I mean? He got to his spots, and when he saw any daylight, he let it fly, and he didn't hesitate. You know, that's something to be said. You know, a lot of times these days with guards, they over dribble. They turn down a good to great shot and try to and you know, by taking the extra couple dribbles and make it an average or a more difficult shot, which in a lot of coaches' eyes are bad shots, and then they finally take it. And that's not him, man. He takes advantage of the opportunity right then and there, and he seizes it, man. He can hit those shots, man. And once he see a few get in, he can get on a solo streak. He's also you know, a fairly tough defender. He's physical. You know, he's not afraid to, you know, stick his nose in where anybody and try to get stops, man. So he was also impressive. You know, Akbar Wahid, special player, man, 6'6" guard junior out of Georgetown Prep. His all-around impact is what pushed Prep, man. I know they didn't win it all, but he was a big reason in that, you know, in potentially being in the mix to try to win it all. You know, he could score from all three levels, hit threes, mid-range, short jumpers inside. He could finish at the rim. Athletic, he'll dunk on you for sure. Has a good front, good size, good length at 6'6", which means he's versatile, especially not with just on the offensive end. Even defensively, he can guard multiple positions and hold his own. He can rebound the ball and be a point at his size, along with his scoring. And he's a very good passer. He has very good vision. He can handle the ball well, and you can just see his all-around game starting to come around and match what he brings, you know, in talent physically, man. So it was a sight to see. You know, I love his game, and I think he's only going to get better. And I think he's already one of the top players in the area. But I think, you know, he has the potential to have an all-man season for sure. Last but not least, out of Riverdale Baptist, Jackson Furman. You know, 6'3" guard. Well, he's not the last. I have one more player, 6'3" guard, senior, sharpshooter. You know, Riverdale Baptist, he can play a little point. He can run the show. But he's a dangerous shooter. You know, if he has any daylight, he's gonna get knocked down. And he's quick. He understands how to create space. He understands how to get into his shots. And he, like I said, he'll knock it down, especially from the mid-range area. He's great out of pick and roll sets. He can finish either hand, either side of the basket, crafty scorer. You know, solid playmaker, and he's a solid defender as well. You know what I mean? So, you know, I expect his name to grow as the season grow and buzz as so to speak, as the season goes along. And last but not least is Dominic Carter, Riverdale Baptist, 6'8" forward junior. He was very impressive, very athletic, long. You know, can dunk on you, block shots, do all the prerequisite things you ask for somebody his size in high school as a forward, as a big to do. But he can also step out and hit threes. You know, he can handle the ball fairly well. You know, be a kind of a secondary ball handler, especially, you know, secondary sets when he's bringing the ball up. And he's the trail man, and he's dangerous in that position because if the guard got thrown back to him, he can hit the three, or he can break down another big off the bounce. You know what I mean? Or he could just find another player and make them a threat. So, you know, he was definitely you know, doing this thing throughout the weekend, and he's a talent, man. Due to his size and athleticism and skill, I know a lot of colleges are going to be, you know, hot on this track, so to speak, throughout the season. Next up, Will Harper, out of Gonzaga. Man, when I say he came in guns blazing, that's what I mean, man. He torched, you know, he torched St. John's Catholic, man, and pretty much then led up throughout, you know, Gonzaga's championship run, man. I already know what he could do. Played at Jim Couch. He was impressive, but he kind of, you know, so to speak, he kind of takes a backseat to Dixon and Nick Lewis or whatnot, man. But he's a player in his own right, man. He reminds me a lot of, if you remember years ago, back in the mid-2000s, Illinois had a trio of lethal guards that all made it to the NBA, and Darren Williams, D. Brown, and Luther Head. He reminds me a lot of Luther Head because as dangerous as he is, hitting shots on the offensive end and the athletic or whatnot, he's a tenacious defender. He might be their best on-ball defender at Gonzaga, man. When I mean he makes it hell for ball handlers to cross half court, that's what I mean, man. And even when he gets beat, he doesn't give up. He can recover. He strips. He's crafty, or he can get the block from behind, man. and he can rebound and push it up the floor, man. So he may not have the spotlight as much as some of his other teammates on the team in the back, especially in the backcourt, but he's every bit as good, just in a different way, man. So, it was a pleasure watching him play. Next up, St. John's Catholic, Aiden Hurley. Look, ran into some killers on the Gonzaga side that start the tournament off. He kind of got, he was, I ain't gonna say shook, but it was a struggle at first. But then once he found a rhythm, he was the one bright spot for St. John's Catholic in a, ugly loss, man. And, he kind of was consistent throughout the tournament, man. Just, being poised and being steady, man, trying to lead these guys to possible wins, man. And, hitting shots, you could tell he's at the top of every team scouting report. As you can see, Will Harper in the picture is guarding him. Best defender, get the top guy, cut the head off the snake. So, but then, he held his own, early, hit shots, threes, adequate shooting, ball handler. You know what I mean? You got to get a little bit stronger. That's the thing. Once he gets stronger, he'll be able to finish better at the rim and be able to guard more possessions. He's 6'4", and you can see he has length, man. So just adding more strength or whatnot will just take his game to another level. And guys won't have the physical advantage because mentally he's there, skill-wise he's there, he has good size. It's just the physical, just adding the strength, getting a little bit more explosive, and then he'll be able to rumble with pretty much anybody at the, especially heading into the next level. Moving on. Now, what can I say? Nick Lewis, one of the top players in the country, Gonzaga's star guard, 6'2" junior, as you can see, did his thing throughout the showcase. Score, very shifty, off the bounce, adequate playmaker, understands when to get his, when to let everybody else eat. He could be a pest on defense. He's strong, quick. He's just everything you want, especially for the next level as a point guard, man. And, he validated why he's so highly coveted and why he's highly ranked, man. He didn't let up, and it didn't matter if it was St. John's Prospect, a team trying to find their way as a program, or in a final against Jackson Reed, VCU powerhouse. He's consistent, and that's what separates him from a lot of players in there, especially to be just beginning his junior year. So he most definitely, if he doesn't, knock on wood, no injuries, anything happen, he most definitely would be in the All-Met mix for sure. And last but not least, from Gonzaga, Alex Tuamu. 6'6", junior wing, man. That junior class for Gonzaga is just lethal. Got to deal with him for the next 2 years, man. He's another one similar to Will Harper that kind of takes a back seat. But out of all the players, due to his size and versatility and athleticism and skill, he probably has the most upside on the team. And that's saying something, man. I'm talking about as far as doing damage at the next level and beyond. He's a problem, man. He can guard literally. Honestly, he can guard 1 through 5 at the high school level. He can shoot threes. He's great at moving without the ball, and getting his shots in the mid-range or finishing at the rim, getting out transition, creating turnovers. This length and athleticism, just being a pest all over the court, man. And he's dangerous in transition. When he gets up, when they get out and run, and if you see him get the ball in the wing, you got to be careful because he'll put you in the basket for sure. And he makes good decisions with the ball, man. So. His game is so complete. It's just to be that young to have his game that complete is just a great sight to see. That tells you he's working. He has a high IQ. Obviously, playing for Steve Turner, you gotta have you're gonna be coached well, and you better have a high IQ. Otherwise, you won't see the floor. It's just as simple as that, man. And he has all of those qualities, man. That's why Gonzaga's going to be a tough team to beat, not just in the WCAC, but just against any team on the national schedule, man. They're going to be a tough team to beat. All right, a few more players, and then we'll move on from the Gonzaga Classic. Probably the best prospect in the the Classic was the Gonzaga DC Classic. It was Antonio Munoz out of Whitney Young, 6'6". Junior, super athletic, freak athlete. As you can see, this is not a fast break dunk where he was reversing on the fast break. This is him catching the lob and reversing it. high motor. He reminds me a lot of Aaron Gordon in high school. Yes, Aaron Gordon played for the Denver Nuggets, but just a smaller version. He has the same type of motor, freak athleticism, where he just overpowers you on both ends with it. You know, on offense, like dunking the ball, moving without the ball, being a lob threat. He can also step out and hit a jumper here and there. You can tell it's still a work in progress with his jumper, but he can hit it. He has nice form. He can take you off the bounce and get to the basket, slasher. Obviously, lethal in transition. He's dangerous to even jump with him. But on defense, man, he blocking shots. He rebounding. He can get out and defend on ball. Once he round out his perimeter skill to match everything he has physically, it's a problem. It's a problem, he definitely has a shot. And when I mean has a shot, he definitely has a shot to be in the mix to try to play 82 games one day, because that's what he has, man, already. He has NBA athleticism and good size and length, man. And like I said, he plays hard. It's not just he's trying to get by on his talent. He understands that, he understands that he's trying to, dominate, because he has the ability to dominate and maximize his talents, man. That's rare for a high school player. Normally, coaches got to stay on you. You don't got to stay on him. If anything, you got to tame him, and that's a great sign. St. Vincent Pilati, freshman, Jaden Dory, point guard, 6 feet. Look, man, he a freshman one playing varsity, and then two, he was not scared of the lights or the moment at all. He came in, he hit shots, he pushed the ball, he tried to run the team. He complimented their junior point guard, Mike Connolly, greatly when they try to trap Mike Connolly, get the ball out his hands. He stepped up, dealt with the pressure, got Pilati in their sets, best way they could, and try to execute, man. He got to the lane, he scored inside. He was competing defensively. The way he looked with his poise and how he competed and how smart he played, the decision making that he had. Had I not seen the roster, if you asked me, I would have thought he was a junior or senior. For him to be a freshman and play like that, it's just scary to what he can become. Already 6 feet, so he's about 6'3", 6'4", and continue to improve with everything he's shown with the intangibles that he already has. Is going to be a problem, bottom line. So, there's no denying it, man. So Pilati got a good one right there. And, last player to close out the Gonzaga DC Classic portion of the show, Gabriel Aragon out of Whitney Young, sharpshooter, high IQ, makes the right play all of the time. When I mean all of the time, I mean all of the time. He doesn't complicate things. If someone's coming back door and they're open, he's going to give them the ball. If he has an open jumper, he's going to shoot it. If he gets a step on the defender, he can lay it up. He's going to lay it up, and not only lay it up, he's going to lay it up high off the glass and make sure the shot blocker can't get it. Just fundamentally sound, smart, skilled player, and he has to be, because he's not physically imposing or going to overwhelm you with his athleticism. So he has to outthink you, and outthink you and be able to execute. You got to have high skill and a high IQ, and he has all those things, man. That's why Whitney Young was a problem throughout the showcase, and they're going to be a problem throughout the season, man. So with that said, man, that's it for my standouts for the Gonzaga DC Classic. It was fun, totally. But congrats once again to Gonzaga. Well deserved. Obviously, they were the favorite. No shock there. But look, they're gonna be tough, man. Gonzaga's gonna be tough, man. They're gonna be tough to deal with. The WCC as usual should be fun to watch. Okay, well, let's move on. Kentucky and Penn, man. Had the pleasure of seeing that game, man. One of my young fellows played for Penn. It's a big game. Kentucky is, I wouldn't say it's rare they come to the East Coast, but they don't normally come this close to the DMV. Normally they'll be up in New York or somewhere deep and playing in the South somewhere in a big tournament or whatnot. You know what I mean? But they came close. Hour and a half drive from where I live, man. And, I had to see what they looking like, man, because it's rare that they come. And they didn't have to. They didn't disappoint, man. You know what I mean? They did their thing. Pulled away late, and defeated Penn. The stronger Penn put up a good battle, man. It's not. They shouldn't hang their heads at all, man. coming out. Pretty sure people expected Kentucky to blow them out, and it just didn't happen. You know, they start off strong, but uh, Penn is just well coached, and they stay within their system, man. And that's why they were able to, you know, stay close and make it a game. You know, one thing about Penn that you always have to do is their ball you deal with is their ball movement. They execute well and they make you work defensively. It's not a bunch of, you know, so-called one-on-one stuff. And what it is, um, you know, they have a couple players that can't put the ball in the hole. And, you know, Clark, Slaggert, young boy, Tyler Perkins, star freshman, Nick Spinoso, Sam Brown, who's another top freshman for them, standout freshman. He's actually the son, if you don't know, a former 6'6" coach, and I believe the assistant with the Spurs, Brett Brown. So they have some guys that, as you see with Sam Brown right there, they have some guys that can put the ball in the basket, man. You know, the thing that I saw that they got, they kept them close with Kentucky was their ball moving, their backdoor cuts, and their open shooters and the offensive rebounds. You know what I mean? Those are the things that they normally beat teams off of. They make you work make you work defensively. You have to be on stream, you have to communicate, and you have to be on point to defeat them. And if you're not, those points will be the difference in why you lose, and usually close games and whatnot. And then they have shooters where if they get hot, they have shooters all over the floor where if they get hot, it could be a long day. It could be a long day, and that's why they have wins over, you know, big wins over Villanova. So you know what I mean. So, and they had Kentucky on the ropes, man. Look, do I know? Obviously, Princeton's the favorite in the Ivy League. You see what Harvard's doing with their own star freshman Malik Mack. Yale was one. I think they were the preseason favorites coming in. So it's gonna be a hell of a battle in conference play, man. And the schedule that Penn has put together, where they battle some of the elite programs in the country already, and have not only pushed them, but actually got some wins. It's just gonna serve to have them so ready for conference play. If they stay healthy and just play for one another, that, you know, they definitely are capable of making a run and making a lot of noise, man. But, you know, like I said, certain players like Clark Slaggert, he's a world-class scorer. If you see him walk in the gym and you didn't know he played for Penn, you would swear like he was just coming from, he's a student or he's just getting off work. You wouldn't think he could play basketball, but he's a bad boy. He can score. He can score in bunches and quickly. He's like a microwave type scorer where it don't take much for him. You know, he can go from 0 points to 12 points in like a minute or two. You be like, what? And he done hit 4 straight threes just like that. But he's also crafty. He's a crafty scorer. And, you know, he's a good decision maker where he's making plays and whatnot. Obviously, Tyler Perkins, you know, young fellow right now, you know, he's still trying to learn different things about the game, but he's confident, man. You know, that's why he's second on the league, second on the team in scoring, second on the team and rebounds and first in steals. And that just shows you his versatility and what he brings to the table. And a lot of his damage is done off intangible stuff like the offensive rebound. You just saw how he got in the lane and scores. Those points add up. And that's what he does. But he can score from all three levels as well. He's great at moving without the ball. He always moving. He doesn't stop, which makes it hard to guard him. And, you know, he's a solid passer in his own right, so he can find guys and make them threats as well. Nick Spinoso, he's basically a point center for them. You know, and he showed in this game against Kentucky. He battled, he battled Kentucky bigs, you know, like Trey Mitchell, Bradshaw, who just came back that game. He battled them tough. You know what I mean? You got to understand, Bradshaw could be a possible lottery pick. Trey Mitchell's in the NBA mix as well with his blended size and skill. And, you know, they all show that they all show that all that hype is warranted, you know, but he battled, and Nick Spinosa more than held his own. And without him, you know, Penn is not in that game, man. So, you know, it's, you know, they have the tools, man. They just have to get better consistent production from their bench, so they're more of a run around the team, and the starters don't have to sustain so much of the load, and they're fresh to try to close out the game when they get back in the game, man. So that's gonna be interesting to see from Penn side. Now, Kentucky side of things, Give me 1 second. Bear with me. Gotta bring it up. Now, Kentucky side of things, they have about, I'd say about 5 or 6 players that could get drafted if they maintain what they've been showing throughout the this portion of the season. And obviously what I saw on Saturday, they have a talented team, man. The Rob Dillingham, he reminds me a lot. He's a smaller Tyrese Maxey to me, man. Come right off the bench and you get to it. But can run the team. And when I mean get to it. Put the ball in the basket. Tough cover. He loves the moment as well. You can tell he has the confidence, man, to believe that can't nobody stop him. He oftentimes shows it. Bradshaw, like I said, he just came back. Potential lottery pick, 7-1, legit. Runs the floor, can finish. And defender, rebound. Underrated part about his game is that he can hit threes, man. Like he has a good stroke. Got the opportunity to take a couple. I think he went 1 or 2 from the top of the key and then shocked everybody in the gym. It's like, hold on, he could do that too. With the damage he does inside, that's crazy. It's scary. You know what I mean? Trey Mitchell. Remember him from UMass covering George Washington. Double-double machine, can score from all 3 levels, rebound, but also can do a little point forward. Play 3, 4, and 5. Reed Shepard. Boy, he's probably the best on-ball defender in college basketball as a freshman. Highly efficient scorer. He also can run a point. DJ Wagner just came back and played in that game. McDonald's All-American. He just came back and played in that game after battling an ankle injury for a while. Solid. Didn't try to outdo too much. Obviously, wounded a little bit, hobbled, but ran the show beautifully. You know what I mean? When he got his opportunities, made a few shots as well, competed defensively, man. But he leaned on his teammates while he out until he can get fully healthy to get more aggressive to score. And their speed, man. That's what I'm saying. Their speed up and down that roster is NBA level. Their speed and size. Not many teams can match that. And that's what you have pretty much up and down the SEC. That conference by far is the most athletic conference in college basketball. So any team in that conference can outrun and outjump you. You know what I mean? So you really have to execute to try to neutralize their size and their athleticism, because if you don't, it can get ugly in a hurry, man. You got to always compete as well. So, they have the potential, man. They're just very young. You know what I mean? We're going to see what they do with it as the season go along. But they have the talent to make a run, a very deep run, man. So they may not have the hype as some of Cal's legendary great Wildcat teams, like the teams with John Wall, Boogie Cousins, and those guys, Eric Bledsoe, or, the teams with Anthony Davis and Karl Anthony Towns and all those guys. They may not have the buzz of those guys, but, they had guys that could possibly be, were for sure going to be the number 1 pick, even coming out of high school or whatnot. But it's a lot of talent on this team and a lot of potential players that will be in the NBA and a lot of potential players that will be drafted high, man. So we're going to stay tuned and see how they continue to grow. Moving forward, before we get out of here, GW, they take on Bowie State tonight. Should be a fun one, man. I'm looking forward to it. My take on it is it's going to be a battle on the backcourt. Both GW and Bowie State have some quality guards. Obviously, then the headliner will be James Bishop, rightfully so. Led the A-10 in scoring, can't knock it. But you can't sleep on Max Edwards and those guys. You can't sleep on Garrett Johnson. I know he's a 6'8" wing, but he plays like a guard. You can't sleep on those guys. But Bowie State has some players in the backcourt that they have to deal with, like Mark Bradshaw, Caleb Johnson, Anthony Carpenter, guys that can light it up, man. And they all bring something different to the table. All of them can run a team. I think Carpenter, I think Bradshaw is the more defensive minded, but he can score. He can score. He can hit the three. He can get to the basket. I think he's dangerous. Kyrie Freeman Davis is a known scorer, fearless. That's why he leads the team in scorer, fearless, 3-level scorer. Can really heat up from the outside. You have to deal with Anthony Carpenter, is a knockdown shooter. You leave him open, he'll light GW up from threes. You gotta look out for Warren McGonagall, who's a tough defender, tenacious, highly athletic. I'm pretty sure James Bishop will see a lot of him. As well as Max Edwards, Trey, Andrew Coy. Caleb Johnson is their most pure point, though. He's the guy that kind of controls the game, controls the pace. So it's going to be interesting to see how GW adjusts to the different variety of ways that Bowie State guards can attack you, because they all bring something different, but they all can do everything, if that makes sense, man. So if you're not locked in defensively, you can be preparing to deal with one guy one way, because you just guarded the other guard one way, and that guard's coming with something completely different, and they can go on a run with the quickness. Obviously, I feel like the advantage that GW has is their depth and the front court. You know what I mean? Darren Buchanan, Garrett Johnson, that's 6'7", 6'8" guys that play like guards, but can get you a double-double on any given night, can kill you in transition. They're tough on the boards. They're tough on defense physically. They can switch. They can defend multiple positions. Then obviously you got the big man inside, Babatunde Akambula, who leads the league, who leads the team in blocks. Recently just broke the team record, single game record, that is, 6'10", 254 pound finisher, high motor. He's their defensive anchor, man. You know what I mean? So Bowie State big is Joel Webb, Amari Wimbush, Tatwan Mate, Jimmy Soronki, 6'11", 292 pounds, son of Jimmy Soronki. They're gonna have their work cut out for them. But at the same time, if Babatunde Akambula gets in foul trouble, it can get interesting. You know what I mean? I know GW has Keegan Harvey, who's 6'11" and whatnot, but I don't think he has the physicality to deal with Bowie State's bigs. If Akambula gets in foul trouble, now if he stay out of foul trouble, it's advantage GW all day, man, because he's a elite rim protector, so nothing will come easy for those guys. So it's going to be interesting to see, man, how the chess match between Caputo and Brooks on the sideline throughout the game. They try to maximize their rosters, man, because Bowie State is pretty long and pretty big and pretty athletic. The question is, can they hit enough shots from the outside? Can they execute well enough to keep up with GW's execution, man? But then again, if GW gets sloppy, which they have in recent games where they're turning the ball over, not getting back on defense and transition, whatnot, Bowie State can not only make this a game, they can sneak out and win. So it should be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. You know what I mean? We need to see more of this, especially the area teams, man. You got to see more of these area teams from all different conferences and whatnot play one another, man, because I think it's just good for the area. And it's also would give the kids in high school a chance to just see how tough all levels of college basketball is, and why you can't just dismiss certain levels because you're envisioning playing at Division I level, the highest level in college basketball. You just dismiss all these other programs and you miss out on opportunities. It doesn't work like that. Moving forward, last but not least, the NBA in-season tournaments. My thoughts on it, man. Listen, to be honest, man, I wasn't skeptical about it. I felt like it would, with the $500K on the line, I feel like it would make certain teams that obviously advance to the quarters and the semis of the tournament. I felt like it would make teams bring that playoff intensity. My thoughts on it is, why does it have to take a in-season incentive to make you bring playoff intensity? I get it's 82 games. I get it's a long season. I get it. But if you're a competitor, each game matters. And it's the NBA. Each and every game, I don't care how good you are, if you don't come ready to play, you can get your ass bust, right? That should be incentive. Like, I don't want to get embarrassed and be all over social media and all over the internet and all over all these shows, and they talking about me getting my ass destroyed. A great example when I'm talking about is in the championship game, by the way. Lakers played the Indiana Pacers. It was a pregame. It was a pregame, like red carpet type of deal. Taking pictures. You see Miles Turner talking to the press, getting all the these photos, whatever. You see Anthony Davis walking around, ain't even stopped. He looked at them, kept it moving. I already knew what time he was on. He was there to rip heads off, and that's exactly what he did. I think he had 40 and 20. And the Lakers dominated the Pacers and won the first in-season tournament. Why can't you bring that every game, especially against the marquee matchups when you know the dudes you got to deal with at your position? Like for AD, obviously those dudes are the Giannis's, the Embiid's, the Jokic, guys like that. Why can't you just do that on your own? It seems like these days that's asking for too much, but to me it's not, because we grew up in the era when I did the NBA. I grew up in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. That was the norm. That was the norm. And if you weren't ready to play, you got role players that serve you and embarrass you. You know what I mean? So, my take from it, look, it's good that you can incentivize guys to compete in the middle of December. But my thing is, now that it's over, what are the guys going to do? Go back to, it's another game tomorrow. Being nonchalant about games. You know what I mean? What does it mean? You know what I mean? There's rumors that they said that from, future playing tournaments that they're going to also, with the money, the 500K or whatnot, they're going to include that if you win it, you get an automatic play-in spot. We'll see how that goes. That's kind of tough, because what if a team late in the season is making a run and they will be in that play-in spot, but only to not qualify because the team won a few games in the end-season tournament? I don't know that will fly unless they expand it by a game, like, another couple teams or whatnot. But I just feel like it's getting too gimmicky, man. These are NBA players, man. This is their best. These are the best players in the world. They shouldn't. The incentive to give your all is to understand that you only have a short window to maximize your career in the NBA. The resources, the financial stability, the network. You only have a short period to do that. That should be incentive enough, along with your love of the game. That should be incentive enough to always give your all, game in and game out. So it's no knock against the NBA in-season tournament. It was exciting. It was good to see guys, like I said, competing at a high level. But I just feel like they should do that regardless. And it's going to be interesting to see if that continues now that it's over for a lot of teams, man. So, that's my take on it. To me, it was a good idea. It worked. But will it work and keep it going for the whole season? That remains to be seen. My closing statement as well, but we get out of here, man. Before we get out of here, Washington Wizards, y'all got to show more pride, man. Y'all got to show some pride. Y'all are literally embarrassing a basketball-rich area in the DMV, in the DC area. Take basketball very serious here. Born and raised here, we take it very serious. It's disgusting how y'all are just laying down. And it's one thing to lose a bunch of games. That's bad enough. But if y'all competing and giving y'all all, this area will be like, cool, y'all just need some pieces to really get over. But we see the effort, we sit there, we can respect it. The way y'all getting punished, no one can respect that. No one respects nothing about what's going on right now. And why should they? At this point in time, the Wizards are dead last in opponent points per game. They're giving up 126.3 points per game. 126.3 points per game. They're 30th out of 30. Their defensive rating is a 121.8, 30th out of 30. Dead last in the NBA. Dead last. But here's the kicker. Offensively, they average 115.6 points per game. That's 10th in the NBA. So you're scoring way above the average mark. You're scoring well enough to win games. It all is a result. The losses is all a result of your defensive ineptitude. The lack of pride in the end, whatever you want, the lack of execution, whatever you want to call it, the non-existent defense. It's all a product of that. I haven't seen dudes get mad. I haven't seen dudes get at each other, get at the coach. And I'm not saying you should do that. I haven't seen any sign of people taking this personal. And I want to hear behind the scenes that may happen or whatever. If you have any pride, it will come out, especially when you're seeing the Philadelphia 76ers. Damn, they dropped 50 on you in the first quarter last night. Like, how can you show your face and just be? It's just, the word is disgusting, as my man Wilson would say. It's disgusting. They got to show some pride, man. Y'all have to show some pride. Players. I'm talking to the players. I don't want to know about the coaching staff or anything, because I know the coaching staff is not telling y'all to come out here and not play defense. Players, y'all have to show some pride. Get out here and get some stops. Stop allowing damn near 50-point quarters. Don't even allow. It's sad when 30-point quarters, we be like, oh man, that's a major improvement. That's sad. Look, man, it's so bad I'm just speechless. Like, this team is on track to be the absolute worst team in NBA history. I don't think people understand that. The absolute worst team in NBA history. It's just, you gotta laugh from you just gotta laugh from as a saying, laugh from crying. Even though I'm not gonna cry, it's that frustrating when you watch them play, man. It's that frustrating. And I'm gonna leave on this note. This is from last night. This is the Philadelphia. Last night's win over the Wizards was the largest margin of victory over the Wizards in their history. They broke a previous record that occurred back in '76, beating by 45 points. And that's with the starters pretty much not playing the fourth quarter. Show some pride, Wizards. Show some pride, man. That's all that's left to play for. Pretty much out of the playoff race. Unless y'all go on a miracle run. Show some pride. That's all we have to say. Show some pride. With that being said, I'm out. This is another episode of All Around. I'll be back with you guys soon. Appreciate you joining me. And look, just take care, man. Be safe out there and take care.